HSS, and they've gone and halved me pension for a start. So it won't be very long before I'm by her side, 'cause I'll probably starve to death, that's what I'll do. For richer or poor, I'm bloody poor, that's a fact. That's 'cause in sickness and in health I said I'll do. In sickness and in health I said I'll do.
Mr. Garnett?
Ah,
You've come for religious instruction.
that's right. Yeah. I'm marrying Mrs. Hollenbury. I'm Church of England and she's...
Roman Catholic, yes.
Yeah. I was just looking at them.
Ah, yes, the Stations of the Cross. That's our Lord on his way to Calvary.
They give him a hard time, didn't they? Tell you, if I was God and that was a son of mine they treated like that, I'd have given him a sight harder time, I tell you. Wouldn't have got away with that if I was God and I was his father. And where was his mates, eh? His 12 apostles. Look like they've started. I mean, they're nowhere to be seen, are they? Not in them pictures.
Shall we go over here?
What's this?
That's the confessional box.
Them pictures you got there, the Lord,
Yes?
they're not painted from real life, are they?
No, no, no. They're artistic impressions.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, Father, I'm not much of an expert on art myself, but
I'm sure.
it's... I mean, the way they painted that lad, I mean, it don't look a bit like you imagine the Son of God to look. Oh, tough. I mean, long hair, hippie shirt. Sure his father wouldn't send him out looking like that. I mean, I wouldn't send a son of mine out looking like that.
It was the costume of the day. As tradition, all priests still wear the cassock.
Yeah, well, I can't believe that God would go around looking like that. I mean, not a man in his position.
What do you suppose he'd wear? A bowler hat?
Well, I'd be very surprised to see him walking about in a nightshirt with long hair.
Well, how would you imagine God?
What if he sort of, like, made a personal appearance, like outside of Parliament or up on a balcony at Buck House? Well, I don't know, I mean, a bit like Winston Churchill, I suppose, you know. Big cigar. But not looking like a bloody Hare Krishna, that's for sure. Excuse the language, Father. You get a lot of sinners in here, do you?
Well, I suppose we have our share.
Yeah. You give them a hard time, do you? Hey? I mean, what's she done, the old lady there? I mean, she's been on her knees since I've come in here.
I believe you've come to see me about your marriage to Mrs. Hollenbury.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, see, the thing is, I'm Church of England, see, and... Well, I don't know much about your lot. So I thought, you know, if you could give us a bit of instruction, you know, so as I'll know when to kneel down, when to stand up, and when it's all right to sit down again, so... Oh, sorry. You know, and when to take me hat off.
Well, there's a bit more to it than that. What I would say to you in this situation, one of you is a Protestant, one is a Catholic, and you've both got to encourage one another in your own respective religions.
Yeah, but, see, what I want to know, Father, is when we get up there to heaven, me and Mrs. Hollenbury, do I go into the Protestant heaven, and does she have to go into the Catholic heaven, and are they far away, you know, like for visiting, that sort of thing? I mean, you know, not too far for a day out to see her, like, you know?
You're both going to the same heaven.
Oh. Well, look, do I have to join up with my first wife when I die, or do I have to join up with Mrs. Hollenbury?
Well, that's a good point.
That worries me.
What I would say to you is this. The wife who had 7 husbands. And the question put to our Lord was, well, at the resurrection, whose wife was she going to be? And our Lord's answer is, In the heavens, there is no marriage.
You mean they're all living in sin up there? Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I've never lived in sin down here. But, I mean, what about, you know, reproduction? I mean, don't they do any of it up there?
No.
No, well, I've never been all that enthusiastic about myself down here, to tell you the truth. And what about, I mean, what age are you up there? I mean, if you go up there young, do you stay young? And if you're old when you get up there, do you stay old? And what happens if you meet your mum and dad? I mean, are they the same age as you?
Yes, it doesn't matter. You become an immortal soul.
Well, yeah, but see, this immortal soul, has it got a face? Oh, it must have, eh? Because otherwise you wouldn't know each other, would you?
Well, as to what you look like, the answer is the concept of heaven is perfect beatitude, perfect happiness. Well, how are you going to be perfectly happy?
Well, that's easy, isn't it? I mean, if West Ham did the double and win the European Cup, then I've got plenty of booze to celebrate it.
No, we've to go back to the theological side of it. Now, if you're going to be perfectly happy, it's going to be you at your most perfect, whatever that was.
Yeah, well, that is hard to say.
Modern biology will tell you, genetics, we have got tremendous potential, which has never been fulfilled in this life, never. Now, in this splendid state of perfection, which is heaven, you could be anything. Einstein, the great mathematician, Van Gogh, the great painter, Mozart, the great musician.
I'd like to be Alf Garnett, the great centre-forward for West Ham and England. Mrs. Ollenbury. So she should, the way she treats me.
Stag night tonight, Alf. Last night of freedom, eh? I don't know why you want to go all through it again.
Oh, I can hold my own with any woman, don't you worry.
Yeah. Not once you've put that ring on her finger, you can't. Once upon a time, Mr. Garnett, that ring would be a symbol that she belonged to you. Now it means you belong to her. She might as well put it through your nose.
No, look, with my last wife, my Else, God bless her, as soon as she heard my key in the door, she dropped whatever she was doing and placed my dinner on the table, and she wouldn't speak, not utter a word, not until I finished. And then only to ask me if I'd had enough.
And do you expect Mrs. Ollenbury to do that?
I need looking after, Harry, don't I? I need a housekeeper. And where am I, Arthur? Old age pensioner, gonna find a housekeeper for as cheap as a wife will be, eh?
Housekeeper? Mine's no housekeeper. I like a bloody landlady. 8 o'clock in the morning, breakfast. 10 minutes past 8, off. 1 o'clock, dinner. 10 minutes past 1, no more service. The kitchens are then closed for the rest of the day. If it wasn't for that coffee store round the corner, I would have died of malnutrition by now.
Why should you put your dinner in the oven for you if you're going to be late?
You're joking. Put my dinner in the oven? The only time she'll burn gas for me is when my head was in the oven. It's worse than being in lodgings. Seaside lodgings. I am out on the streets more than the homeless. I'm thinking of getting myself a cardboard box. At least it'll be a place of my own. Somewhere to come home to. I won't have to be in by 10 o'clock every night.
Yeah, but what about tonight, Arthur? It's a stag do.
I'll put in for a late night pass.
Here, look. I bought her a present.
Huh?
Here. Here you are. Well, what do you reckon? It's good, isn't it? Eh? How much do you think that cost? Go on, have a guess.
£5.
How'd you know?
I saw the bloke selling them down the market. You got that for Mrs. Ollenbury, did you?
Yeah, it's a wedding present. I mean, and the ring.
Yeah.
Well, if I was you, I'd keep them wrapped up.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Keep it out of sight. Oh, don't want me collar felt, eh?
What I mean is if you get a bit of humidity on them, they're going to turn green.
What are you talking about? That's gold.
Gold? Hey, where are you from? Where do you think you're going to buy gold in London for £5?
It's just his spiel. Tell him it's stolen, every honest citizen will rush to buy it.
Of course. Oi, here, listen. You going to marry Mrs. Hollenbury with that ring?
Well, that's all right. Looks all right. I mean, look, I bought it as gold, didn't I? She don't know much about gold anyway, does she? I mean, she ain't seen that much gold. Anyway, it's the thought what counts.
Oh, Mr. Garnett,
What?
here's a little wedding present.
Oh, tall.
It's not much.
Oh, very nice. Well, it ain't much, is it? I mean, what happens if somebody comes to dinner?
Honest.
Alf, it's the thought what counts.
Yeah, well, not much thought gone into that, is there? Here, we do have afters in our house too, you know.
A lot of thought went into that, Alf.
Well.
We're all poor people around here. We didn't want you and Mrs. Hollenby to have cheap, nasty, small presents. So we all clubbed together. Get you a decent set of cutlery.
Well, bloody hell, we've got knives and forks.
It'd be a nice gift.
Well, what do you think we eat with now? Fingers?
I said you wouldn't get much thanks for it.
Look at that. Look at that. God, blimey. I mean, there's only two of us, you know. Oi! Oi!
Ooh, I don't know who buys this rubbish.
We do. Oh, it's costume jewellery. It's not bad. I mean, £5 for 6 chains, a bangle and a ring.
Oh, yes.
As long as people aren't taken in by it. Think it's gold.
Oh, come on. Now, what kind of daft fool would think you could buy 6 gold chains, a gold bangle and a gold ring for £5?
Oh, you'd be surprised. They say there's one born every minute. And I think it's more than that round here.
Yeah.
They look nice for the wedding, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all 3 of us wearing them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it will. It will. Bride, maid of honour, bridesmaid. Oh, yes. Here. But not them rings, though. No. Look. Just shows you how thick you've got to be if you're taken in by this rubbish. Here, watch. Oh! I know. Gold is supposed to be soft,
But not as soft as some people.
I bet you're looking forward to it now, aren't you?
Well, yes, in a way, I suppose.
And no second thoughts.
Oh, I've had more than second thoughts, don't you worry.
Well, I was surprised, I must say, when I heard that you was going to marry him. I mean, Mr. Garnett, of all people. Oh, well, yeah. I know I can't talk, being married to my Harry. I mean, he's no catch. Sort of thing you'd throw back if you was fishing. But all that was a long time ago.
Did you have a big white wedding?
No. Very quiet. I didn't want to draw attention to it. Let's face it, marrying Harry, I mean, there's nothing to boast about, is it?
Was you nervous on your wedding night?
Nervous? Disappointed. No, well, see, Harry had always boasted that he was well hung.
The threads packs away quite neatly.
I didn't know much about sex before I was married, and I didn't learn much after I was married. But, oh, when I see it, for the first time, On our honeymoon, I thought to myself, well, if that's well hung, it's not what I'd imagined well hung would mean. It hung like an acorn between two crab apples.
I bet you was relieved.
Well, I was very fortunate with my first marriage because he never bothered me with things like that, no. Well, he knew I wouldn't have allowed it. I give him his due. He never persisted. No, not even if he'd been drinking.
So you're not keen on that sort of thing, then?
No. I was brought up to believe it was dirty. And when I saw my late husband's, I saw no reason to change my mind.
Fortunately, as my mother always used to say, you don't get married for that sort of thing. Well, not if you're wise. If he had a good job, she always said, that was far more important.
Yeah.
My Fred's provided a nice home, I must say that. Although, well, most of the time I would prefer to share it with someone else.
Oh, you've got a dream, man.
Only in my dreams. My dreams. I've woken up some nights all hot and bothered and panting with this feeling. And my Fred's turned to me and I've had to say, no, not you. Leave me alone, you'll spoil it. Then, of course, he gets all grumpy.
Mr. Garnett says he's...
What?
That...
Well hung. I shouldn't think so. Another acorn, I think.
Getting some lead in your pencil,
Yeah, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need some lead in that old pencil of yours. That Mrs. Ollenbury, she's been without it for years. She's gonna be hungry for it.
Without it? I bet she ain't, eh? Not with that old roundabout. Here, I bet he climbs up them old stairs of a night, eh?
Yeah, I don't know what we're laughing at. Here's a man about to face his doom, as they say.
Yeah, well, you can have a laugh and a drink and a wake, can't you?
A wake's better than this. I mean, here is a man getting banged up for life.
Marriage is like an open prison.
Open? What's open about it?
I'm not a prisoner.
Of course.
I can go out. I can go where I like.
Yeah, but you have to take her with you.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got a dog, you've got to take you for a walk, haven't you? I've had both wife and a dog.
He has too.
Firm man, right,
Yeah.
sit, stay, down, whoa. It's the training. It's not the training.
Look, it's just like Barbara Woodhouse, isn't it? Breathe up their nostrils.
I don't breathe up their nostrils, it? You're a firm man, mate. Put a choke collar, hip, heel, there you go.
The trouble is, Mr. Garnett, a dog ain't entitled to half your house if you want to kick it out.
Yeah, well, a dog, you can have it put down.
Yeah, no questions asked.
questions
But
asked.
you want to put a wife down, that's more difficult.
Oh, that's not easy.
Right. You've thought about it, have you, Arthur?
That's a crime for a start.
That's right, yeah. No extenuating circumstances.
None at all.
No, I mean, if a burglar breaks into your house and steals half of what you've got, and you clobber him, lay him low, finish him off, you've got a chance there because it's your property. Under the law, he's stealing.
Another fact.
But a wife, a woman, a con artist, who comes to you with nothing, promises to love and obey you, and that's a lie for a start off. I can count on one hand the number of conjugal rights I've had I'd have been better off with a whore and a housekeeper, because they've got to serve you, otherwise you don't have to pay them. And you can say to them, I didn't like that. I was not happy with that.
Not happy with
Wife, once she's wormed her way into your affections, that's it, man, you're knackered.
Mine ain't much.
See the bride till they meet up at the church.
No, it's not just that. I don't want to see him. He'll smell of drink still, I know. Oh, the state he got himself into last night.
Did you have to put him to bed?
No fear, I left him where he fell. I put some newspapers under his head in case he was sick in the night, but that's all. Here, I'm going upstairs to have a bath and get ready. Perhaps one of you ladies could let him out once I'm upstairs. Oh, yeah, don't let him touch any of this drink, will you? Because I don't want him coming to the church drunk.
Oh,
come on.
Oh, God. Well, what's going on? Why have you locked me in there?
Well, you're not supposed to see the bride until you meet at the church.
Well, how can I go to church if I'm locked in there, eh?
Mrs. Ollingberry says you've got to lay off of that stuff. She don't want you arriving up the church drunk.
No, it's the first of the day, innit?
I'd hope so. You've only just woken up.
Well, just alive and that's all.
You'll make yourself ill drinking this early.
I am ill. God, blimey. My head. Oh, we had a skinful last night, didn't we?
Disgusting.
Shut up.
There's some breakfast cooked for you in the oven.
No, a few of these will do for me, don't worry. Look, how am I supposed to get ready and dressed if I can't see the bride, eh?
Well, you'll use your bedroom, won't you, I should think?
Well, I might want to go in the bathroom. I might want to wash or something.
Oh, I think I'll pour myself a little something now that the praying mantis has gone.
Yeah, hold on.
What?
Here, look, give that to Mrs. Ollingberry, will you? It's my wedding present to her, tell her.
I'm sure she'll be pleased.
Yeah.
It's a bit late. You think she'll turn up?
Of course she will. It's her big day, innit?
Yeah.
She's got her heart set on this. It's her happy day.
Yeah.
She's been looking forward to this for months, she has, half. Fancy a drop of that off?
Oh, not half. Yeah.
Milk, though?
Oh, cheers, Al. Good luck. Oh, handsome.
Slide it along to Mr. Carey, will you?
Not half. Thirsty work this waiting.
How about you, Father? Fancy a drop? It's all right, nobody's watching.
Excuse me, Father. Could I borrow an offering plate, make a collection?
Oh, certainly. Thank you.
It's not for you, Father. It's a whip round for booze. But we'll take a collection for you afterwards, if you like. it's coming now.
Right, organ.
She ain't coming down the aisle to that.
She ain't coming down the aisle to that.
I want Here Comes the Bride.
She wants Here Comes the Bride.
She wants Here Comes the Bride.
Alfred and Bridget Bernadette Camille. You have come together in this church so that the Lord may seal and strengthen your love in the presence of the church's minister and this community. Christ abundantly blesses your love. He has already consecrated you in baptism, and now he enriches and strengthens you by a special sacrament so that you may assume the duties of marriage in mutual and lasting fidelity. And so, in the presence of the church, I ask you to state your intentions. I shall now ask you to freely undertake the obligations of marriage and to state that there is no legal impediment to your marriage. Are you ready? Freely and without reservation to give yourselves to each other in marriage.
Excuse me, Father. I don't have to say obey.
Oh, no, we don't have that now, not in this ceremony.
Yes. So I won't have to say obey.
She will.
I won't.
You will?
I won't.
If you're marrying me, my dear, you will obey and you will say, I obey.
I'd rather not marry you.
Oh, yes, you will.
Oh, no, I won't.
Oh, yes, you will.
She won't. And you can have your cheap jewellery back. Arthur, give me the ring. This is the sort of man he is, Father. Oh, he was going to marry me with this. The cheapskate. Come on.
Don't be too upset, Mr. Garnett. It's a lucky escape.
Don't be too upset. I could have gone and watched West Ham this afternoon.
That's what I'll do. For Richard